Yeah, it's another dream, but there's also Navalny and Putin, Putin and Biden meet in Geneva. And, well, let's talk about the strategy for the Navalny people. Because there's three interesting things, okay? That brings me to my dreams. To my dream. This is like one dream, okay? So there's a problem. We know the problem. The problem is called Putin. He has absolutely no zero. He has no opponent, okay? Because the only opponents, and there's a Duma election coming up, supposedly, whatever that means, but I'm telling you, it's Duma means Rat, means like a big, election. Because Putin and Russia, they say obviously they're democratic. It's like during the Soviet time, there were always some kind of elections, and and even within the hardest, even between Stalin and Khrushchev and whatever their names were, they were hardcore fighting, and then even Trotsky was killed, and even Guerra was killed, even in Mexico. Anyway, that's kind of really historical, but today it's kind of similar because Navalny was just recently identified. It's real opposition. But just poisoned him, killed him. Russia seems to like to poison opponents. It's called toxic when it comes to private American, European, wherever you are, relationships, because toxic is kind of also definitely a word for poison, no? Not poisonous relationship. Anyway, brings me to my dream just now today, okay? The day where Putin and Biden meet in Geneva. But before that, I was dreaming that I stand there and make heavily out with a person, a woman. I was not at all supposed to make out, but with whom I once had quite would say turbulent, real, all out, even, like really love relationship, kind of went crazy over it. And anyway, I stand there, and that's kind of last night's dream. Kiss her and caress her breast, kiss her and caress her breast, and am aware, wow, this is crazy, this is not good, but why not, since there is no alternative or something, Anyhow, well, when you're really downbeat, and when you really have no love in your life, and you really never, have precisely a situation like that, for whatever reason, maybe there are many reasons, I don't even go there, but, well, let's talk about Biden, Putin again, because maybe, but then NPR talked about Navalny, the opposition guy, the only scary opposition guy who was nearly injected with poison or whatever. That's kind of really hard to trade. Poison, and the Russian journalist was like fabulous. He called the prison penal colony, no, penal colony. It's not a penis colony, obviously. I mean, I wish, which I kind of had, believe me or not. I was in a penal colony with the person I was with last night, with the really intelligent lover I was with, massaging her breasts and kissing her, a penal colony. I experienced with her when I was dreaming. So brings me, it's kind of really stunning if you think about the strategy of Navalny now. The Navalny came because Navalny, we know, is in prison in the penal colony, which is not a penis colony. And he's actually quite big, and he was in the family, and you really wonder, wow, hardcore he goes back to those people, back, and then the United States and the West, they seem to really be totally convinced that should Navalny become president, somehow like Aung San Suu Kyi, okay? Aung San Suu Kyi is also disappeared even, currently. Also, like, it's called those people are, Aung San Suu Kyi even got a Nobel Prize, And who else got one? I think some other huge politicians got that shit. Wasn't Yeltsin getting one? Oh, and then who wanted one? Obviously Putin wanted one. And so on and so forth, but we know who got one. We know definitely that Clinton got one. Didn't he? No, he didn't get one. He got for sure other shit. But the first one who got the Nobel Prize in peacemaking outright right away before he was even elected, or just for being elected, was Obama, a black president. Brings us now to even upcoming New York City mayor elections, and the question is here, get a woman elected for the first time would be in history, and then we also have even black women to be elected to the position of the mayor of New York City. And that would be like from within the Democratic camp, we're having now primary elections. That means like elections before the elections to just narrow down the candidates, basically, to see who's gonna be in the election. Anyway, and then plus there are all these other jobs in there. You can just like have vote everywhere. There are so many names in there, so many New York candidates for all these huge jobs, and then between one party, because it's kind of what I get, the Democratic Party, sorry. I'm a Democrat in the sense that pretty frustrated with the fucking Democrats as well, but go with the least evil, and at this point I have to say I don't even know what evil is anymore. I don't know what evil is anymore, and who to trust or who to choose in this field of narrow differences. And brings me back to my place. Above me I have now two non-paying candidates. One already is, believe it or not, he is. He definitely is what is called in court for eviction. And the other one, I hope he will either move out because he yells around like crazy. And I hear every word he says, from fuck, 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 to the fact that he says he owes a house, and then to the fact that he has been kicked out of a house, just like the Chinese American guy, now in court. And then both at one point were really harassing and challenging me. I mean, throwing things after me and mentioning, in the case of Chinese American, even guns, and in the case of the other gentleman above me, even, I mean, he threw shit at me, blue pants and shit. I mean, like yelling and all other scenes. He just, anyhow, he hopefully moves out, just disappears. So I have hope that he's not just standing here, which means my reality then is already, my reality currently, believe it or not, is a nightmare. It's a nightmare. It is not a dream. It is ein Fluch, no, a curse, a nightmare. It is. Even though I am aware that I post this video now on YouTube as a Putin Navalny video, because we want to see what Geneva, they meet in Geneva right now, what it will bring. So from an American news perspective, the journalists also played already an interview of Putin, the Russian president, really smart, and what he does, and listen to this, for the money he has, for sure, and that Russian journalist explained it, he has wealthy business friends, who, oligarchs they're called, who are holding accounts in Putin's name, because he said that he's no such account. None such an account. There's no account, a kickback, it's called kickback or whatever it's called. There's no account that says Putin, like a bank account. They're holding, the oligarchs holding financial assets for the Russian president, and the game of politics is just a game in regular life. It's gambling, it's big bets, it's really assets and housing and alliances and money and power is money and dreams, money, assets. So the Navalny journalist pleads for the life, a really intelligent man, for the life of the only current, no matter who, opposition politician, Navalny, Alexei Navalny, and says that their strategy in the upcoming Duma election is going to be to pick the least corrupt, even mentioning, saying they're bad guys, they're assholes. Meaning the least, the most craziest, the bad, the worst, the least worst, okay? You get the point. So what the Navalny movement is doing is an amazing strategy. I mean, if you think about it, to in every little fucking corner identify the least corrupt, you know, as namely the least corrupt on the ballot, to vote by admirers of Navalny, hence to make it onto the ballot, because they are what it's called in other terms kingmakers of sorts, at least really introducing what? Introducing as a movement, a real opposition movement, because no Novallney organization guy can be on it, the least corrupt guy is a Navalny candidate in the election to the Duma. And that means those guys could win. And then you have Navalny with those guys, thanks to those guys, with political leverage in the Duma, sitting, and that's kind of the advice board. And then they get a touch of power. They get a good life in the Duma. But they become what? They want to see that success repeated, meaning they become susceptible also to the leverage of the Navalny movement. And that is really fucking stunning, beautiful. And that brings me maybe back to my private dream. I stay there in a hallway, and I could fall back, but it's kind of a balcony, and I make out this woman I was with for a couple of years recently, the last love affair that derailed me, that fucked me over, whose name, very smart woman, whose name I cannot mention, but it was kind of amazing. Just like in the political strategy, have nobody to kiss, nobody to walk out. Well, you go with the least. You go with the least corrupt. I mean, in my case, the only one available is the one that appears in a dream. I mean, isn't that obvious? Isn't that funny? I think it's very funny, because in real life, nobody wants to neither suck my dick nor have my dick go up somebody's, body, nor massaging and making out. So what do? You dream about it, okay? Well, you can always dream about it, because the beautiful thing about dreams is you just might be shocked. And you dream about the shit I just did. But what maybe other people don't do, versus me, that maybe is like, it's kind of, I would say kind of unique. I would say kind of annoying. I would say kind of not so easy to digest. I just film my dreams. because I have no time to value them, evaluate them, write them nicely down, make them understandable, put them in English, and so on and so forth. I mean, sorry, I don't have an editor. I don't have a writer in my family. I am myself not a native English speaker, so sorry for that. At least I have still a roof over my head, because let's go back to Navalny and all the candidates into the Duma, the Rat, the lawmaking body of the Soviet, I mean, it's not anymore the Soviet Union, but the Russia Duma, the power holding body where laws are drafted, where laws coming up for, I mean, legislative body would say in the United States, where you set a law, where your voice is really like respected, and even if the regular Russians know you, I mean, who cares? But Navalny is really known now around the world, and he's in a penal colony. I love that. That's Franz Kafka. That brings me even to those conflicts I have with my students and their minimal wage, 30 euros for whatever, just answering an email. I mean, what the fuck is that? I mean, Leah, sorry, but what are you doing? Why do you annoy me for, you have a misunderstanding. Cut down my artwork for your own benefits, because you just now testing a flex and go around, clean up all the shit and throw it away. My artwork, when everybody knows it's my artwork. I mean, it's kind of annoying, and then not even sending an image, and I was like stressed, go here, go there, when that shit happened. I mean, man, that was stressful. That's why I look forward to Germany, but I also look a little bit annoyed going there, because, in the end, it's also those misunderstandings and these respectless demands. They're just annoying. And I don't think I'm a Navalny. I don't think I'm a Navalny supporter maybe, but I don't think I'm convinced that if Navalny would become president, he would be necessarily so much better than Putin. But right now it really does look like it. But the Hydri aspect, Hydri it's called, Hydri in Russian, because it's really smart and disgusting combined, and strategically really on a fuck up level, because the system creates its own politicians, and that means corruption seems to be the game of town, and transparency seems to be also the game of town in Russia, because nothing is transparent, meaning the opposite is the case, meaning you have no chance in Russia currently but to be corrupt in a corrupt environment, and you pay with your price if you're really an opponent. Look at Novallney and all the other people who get poisoned, quite a few of them, even outside their territories, just the way Trotsky was killed in Mexico, and all, of course, precisely at one particular point when the people behind the killers, are using it for political gains, the death or the prosecution, or the hatred, not even totally defined by interests. Such shit also exists, but what's then my currency when I have no money? What's my currency when I have no job? I mean, a part of dreaming, of course, and a little bit of educating, and a little bit of show making. What's my job? I'd say my job is definitely, well, art is my job, isn't it? Art making. And brings me to Kevin McCoy, supposedly now website he makes, an NFT bidding site. I have no clue how the shit is done, but I suppose not the most sitting job. And that brings you to the fucking house. It's warm. It's like 30 degrees and the fucking heat is on. Because I have no fucking heat pump or some equivalent. Because Putin meeting Putin and Biden. Do they say Biden? Politický klub Bidena. I mean, я хочу полетать еще раз. Я хочу полетать в Россию. I mean, I love Russia. Such a beautiful country. Such amazing people. So smart. So beautiful. So racist. And so mafioso. Corrupt on every level. And then what the fuck it is here so much better? Is that even true? Kind of doubt it. Yeah, I was dreaming, standing there, making out, massaging her breast, like in a loop. I repeat, one more time, Putin, Biden meet, there will be updates today. My station is NPR, WNYC, New York City, and when it comes to my own safety, I'm safe. It's kind of, it is what it is, because susceptible to just 911 calls, which is really insane, and then to go on drugs against my will. Should I today go downtown, or should I paint one more painting before I go downtown? Why am I procrastinating? Why am I not fucking calling the court? Maybe I should call the court. They Yeah, I mean, I was just dreaming about how it would be to go downtown, how it would be to deal with, because Dr. S.H., Dershowitz, Dr. Dershowitz fucked me over. Had me interned. I have not filed a suit against him yet, because that would make it the most susceptible. To fraud, of course, to the inherent danger of politics in Russia. Because here was really Soviet Union. You're just taken out of context. Closed my eye, immediately had discussions. I mean, that one was about a record deal, what a nonsense. A book deal makes more sense. But even a record would make sense, because I'm kind of a broken record. And how many meetings do we have between Biden and Putin? The first, but between the US and Russia, a lot. Since I'm a child, there were always tensions. The only big shift, and the question is, did it really change much? It did change a lot. Bagapni Ludi can now travel. Bagapni Ludi is like Ludi, or like trashed, fully stashed cash, I mean, it's called money, now they have bank accounts over there, etc. Pretty capitalistically oriented over there. I mean, you have no idea how insane Russia is and how much they love New York. Yeah, always nearly there. With enough layers. Because I saw, unfortunately, I took a lady in, very hidri, very smart, really fucked up. 2 children even. I'm so sorry to say that, but she lied under oath to kick me out. She told me how she will just make it up in case God don't believe her. Yeah, I leave in court because it's now about the children. It's fucked up. And I would say really fucked up. But my current life, and well, I'll survive it for sure. I dream, and the most miserable act is my American lawyers, maybe because I don't have much to say or no money, are just not doing their job. No anticipatory thinking what might happen in court, nor do I hear some strategic questionings, because you hear people go in and out, close the door, cat, a kind of cat who talks to me here. I mean, who was just walking down. They talk with their feet on stairs in an old house. That completely made her crazy. The scammer. She couldn't believe it. She called it even a mansion when it's a shit house. With old stairs when nobody pays rent. And that brings me to those narcotic cokeheads or whatever they are on. Very annoying people in this house, or getting somebody through this house. Very fucked up. The business I have, where I clean up the dirt of others, because I do have a job. A part of dreaming and filming dreams, which I do as an artist, by the way, not only as a psychologist in training, not only as a philosopher in scope and understanding, an artist who kind of understands that life blogging is a thing, and I just limit myself to what? Fucking dream recording, and then having what? Just like the topic of my last book, the only book, in fact, Money and Dreams. Well, that one. Just put it on the internet, because I realize YouTube still is there, and then I don't want to deal with so much data. So I just erase. I load it up and then I erase it, because what's the point of hearing me giving political, social, personal, kids-related analysis on, not Yeltsin, Putin, Putin, Navalny. And then when I was in Russia, I heard the same lame, really dramatic run of things when it came to love and kissing and breasts and sex and passion. A very passionate country, that Soviet Union, follow up Russia, Russia. What a damned beautiful land. And I was so damn scared to hear about the Dutch gangsters, to hear about those families where people murdered. And that brings me even to the American fake redhead writer. I mean, Navalny and Putin are like, currently day and night. But there was a moment people were even happy with Putin, because he got out somebody else, and all people wanted was stability and this kind of predictability. And as Putin is Leningrad CIA chef, in KGB chef, or whatever the agency now is, kind of in there, whatever it's, how they say it. That station is not a station wagon. That place is, that train is gone, because I went with Borscht also back and forth quite a bit between Leningrad, and it still was called Leningrad, and then Petersburg, and then, my God, why did I even study? Why did I even study Russia? Wow. Why so young was I already in love with this lady who studied Russian, and that gives me now a head up all the other ones that are like wow, the Chinese, the sinologist, man, was I in love with her. Anyhow, but now let me go to the now, the Hikanunk, the now I need to be here now, because I'm needed, not in a world of dreams and past narrative bits concentrated out around the label love and disappointment and desperation and freakiness. I hope you forgive me if you see that one, because let's see, what the fuck, I don't even have on the screen. I mean, what's on the screen, what is not. No, I just was dreaming, seeing that the camera moved and took it with my hand. No, I did not. But I think I should stop soon, should I? Or think again one more time of Novallney, opposition leader in Russia. And Biden, the difference? Well, there are 4 people, A people in the room, quite a few more advisors. Maybe, those talks in Geneva, because I was in Geneva, I kind of, those villas are amazing, and then those houses. Oh God, what did I do wrong? Because certain people could hold that job longer than me. What the fuck did I do wrong? And I kind of know what I did wrong, but not really what I did wrong. But it brings me back to others who were able to really capture the breath there longer than I did. American, basically they just then started showing with Paula Cooper, and then brings me to Christian Marclay, brings me to, well, we know the other ones. I don't even mention their name. I do it like Putin now. I don't mention everybody's name. Some are really annoying, just don't mention their name. It's a strategy. Naming is a strategy. Really. And then the court tells you also, don't mention her for a year. For a year. Well, I don't need to mention her, call her, etc. Not at all interested. I think I stopped now. I said already too much. Putin and Biden talk now. And maybe one day I go back into the business, or will be allowed in the business of love again. And maybe I get to see even those results, the result of love and misunderstandings, promises not kept by the mother of the children, meaning Edgar and Isadora Gana. I want to see them, no matter what, 10 and 13 years ago. That's fucked up. 14 years ago. Yeah. Really fucked up. But the strategies, the strategically painfully, not painfully, attack is over and Putin hour by hour, but not too long from now we will get a nice update over the political, it's called Gipfeltreffen, a summit meeting two blocks, okay, two opponents, major power players. Because when it comes to China, Russia, and US will definitely also find believe it or not, they will also find an alliance, because is even the fact that they occupy a lot of Chinese, ethnic Chinese Han, and other territories, the Chinese. Or was it Russia? I mean, just let me hang up now, because the Chinese Uyghurs also live in shit. And that's called Muslim. And the painting I was painting yesterday was also the Xinjiang province. Always so many drawings here, and I kind of love my artwork, but let's just hope we will never have any dramatic war events in the air, meaning that nobody uses nuclear bombs, nobody uses chemical bombs, nobody uses bombs against anybody, but in particular, of course, I mean, I care for my own life. Don't lie under oath, don't poison me, toxic relationship me, don't denounce me to the courts, don't go after me, don't fuck me over. That's actually it. Let me see. Oh, 41 minutes again, huh? A dream. Okay. I was just dreaming at 60. Isn't that crazy? And then I counted a little mathematics, because I don't want to go over an hour, because that might not be allowed on fucking YouTube. I never tried it out, but I don't give a shit. I don't want to submit any fucking shit over an hour. And now also time for me to get back into the game of trying to survive as an artist in fucking New York City without going crazy. So I dream, of course, I still keep dreaming. And jamming networks that are for free, at least. I love you all. I do love you all unstrategically. Strategically, I love women more. That are obviously, I want to get to know them. Let's just call it that way, but you know, you get the point. I had a beautiful dream, and I was sorry for it, what it was. Definitely heterosexual, sorry for that. And I cannot be black, I cannot be trans neither. Too many drugs, too much isolation. Just being me, I mean, what the fuck? Bye.